Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to unravel the story of a frontier kingdom that literally rose from a patchwork of warring tribes, hit an incredible golden age, and then tore itself apart, all in about a century. This is the 400-year saga of the Koch Dynasty.
So back in the 16th century, this powerful new kingdom just exploded onto the scene, right in the borderlands of what we now know as India, Bangladesh, and Bhutan. And for the next, 400-plus years, its rulers would go on to shape the culture, the religion, and the politics of this entire region.
So how on earth does that happen? To really understand how the Koch dynasty got so powerful, we have to start at the beginning, with the incredibly ambitious leader who put it all together. His story is basically a masterclass in how to build a state from absolutely nothing.
Okay, so let's jump right in. How was this kingdom actually forged from the chaos?
Well, you got to picture this. It's the late 15th century, and the Brahmaputra Valley is, it's a mess. The old Kamata Kingdom is collapsed, and the whole area is ruled by this loose confederation of local chieftains called the Baro Buyans. Their grip was shaky at best, and the whole place was just rife for a unifier to come along. And that unifier was a man named Biswa. He came from a mixed background, which was pretty common for the area, but what really set him apart was his charisma. He had this amazing ability to get different, often warring tribal groups to rally under a single banner. Now, Biswa, who would later become King Biswa Singha, wasn't just a brute. He was a brilliant strategist. He had this incredible four-step game plan. First, he brought all the local tribal chiefs into the fold. Next, he went after the guys in charge, the Buyans, and systematically defeated them. With his power base solid, he set up a capital at Kamatalpur. And finally, and this was a total masterstroke, he adopted Hinduism, which gave him a kind of divine legitimacy to rule over this incredibly diverse population.
I mean, look at that. It's basically a blueprint for building a kingdom from the ground up. And just like that, by 1515, it was a done deal. A brand new kingdom had been born out of all those scattered chiefdoms, officially kicking off the reign of the Koch Dynasty.
So, with that foundation laid, the dynasty was primed and ready to enter its golden age.
You know, what's just wild is how fast this all played out. When you look at this timeline, you see its founding, its absolute peak, and the beginning of its fracture, all within just over a single century. It's incredible.
This peak was really driven by two remarkable brothers. Nara Narayan, he was the visionary king, and Shukla Dwaj, who was this military genius. He was better known as Chilarai, which means the Kite King, because his attacks were just so incredibly fast.
And together, these two were just an unstoppable force. Their military campaigns steamrolled across the region, massively expanding the kingdom's influence. They made the Koch dynasty the dominant power, no question about it.
But here's the thing. Their reign wasn't just about conquest. They also sparked this huge cultural renaissance. They became patrons of a reformer named Srimanta Sankaradeva, and this support helped spread a new form of Hinduism called Neo-Vaishnavism, which shaped the cultural landscape for centuries.
But you know how these stories go. A golden age, it can't last forever. And that brings us to the critical turning point, the moment the kingdom was divided. After Nara Narayan's death, a classic family feud permanently split the dynasty right down the middle. In the west, Koch Bihar, which decided to ally with powerful outsiders just to survive. In the east, Koch Halao chose to resist, and this single division would ultimately seal their fate. And the fracture was deep. As you can see here, the two main branches that came from Nara Narayan and Chilarai's family lines would themselves splinter over time, breaking into even smaller little principalities. And of course, being divided like this left both of these new, smaller kingdoms dangerously vulnerable, especially with massive empires on their borders.
So you're faced with the mighty Mughal Empire. What do? Well, Koch Bihar decided to play it safe and became a vassal state. They survived. Koch Hajo, on the other hand, tried to fight back, and their path of resistance, well, it ended in 1612, when they were conquered and just absorbed into the empire.
And at the same time, they were also in this constant dance of negotiation and conflict with the Kingdom of Bhutan to the north. They were fighting over these really strategic trade routes in a region called the Duars, which created this really dynamic, complex relationship of both war and cultural exchange. So after all the conquests, all the conflicts, and all the drama, what did the Koch dynasty actually leave behind? What's its enduring legacy?
Well, their legacy is surprisingly huge. They created a unique cultural blend of art and architecture. They set up an administrative system that was copied for generations. And maybe most importantly, they acted as this crucial bridge between the very different cultures of the plains and the highlands.
And this is why this all matters. Even today, the Koch Dynasty is remembered as this powerful symbol of regional identity and pride. It represents a time of unity and strength against outside forces.
It really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? How do the stories of these fallen kingdoms, their triumphs, their failures, their fractures, continue to echo down through the centuries and define who we are today?